Hello, everybody. This is Big Ruben. We are the podcast Men Redefining Manhood. So, welcome to Men Redefining Manhood, a podcast and movement for fathers and men ready to rewrite what it means to be men. This isn't about perfection; it's about presence. It's about healing, not hiding. It's about building up men, not tearing each other down. Let's redefine manhood together.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks, Ruben. Hey, my name is Jose. And we have a guest here that's going to be joining us to offer his experience as a man, what it is, what's his perspective of, manhood and personal experience as well, from a cultural point of view, from a man's point of view, and um, also what's his experience with mental health. So thanks for joining us, George. We really appreciate you coming on board, man. We have a couple questions that we'd like to ask, and then we'll take it from there. We'll let it unfold, and I think it'll be a great conversation for our listeners, to join in and just see what their take is on it, when they hear the podcast.
And so, one of the questions that we did have for you is when you think about the next generation, what's one generational pattern you feel men must break so our kids um, don't carry on the same wounds?
Yeah. So, when being that I'm involved with a lot of children when it comes to coaching basketball, my students in my work environment and with my kids, I wear different hats. There's a specific tone that I have with my children. There's a specific tone that I have with the kids I coach, and there's a specific tone with the students that I work with. They're all different, and you're almost obligated to approach them different. There's only so much you can do.
Mhm.
I maintain the same demeanor. There's a lot of things that stay the same, but I do feel that with my kids, I can speak to them in a way that I'm raising them. Coaches, as a coach, I'm not raising these kids. I'm coaching these kids. As a teacher, I'm not raising these kids. I'm teaching them. So, but I always try to find ways to. There's a moral sense. There's an ethical sense. I always intertwine life with sports. That's one of the biggest reasons why I coach and I teach. That's why I like it. I didn't know at the time that I was gonna love it, but I love it because I'm doing it with basketball. How it changed, basketball and music changed my life. So I just interpret that same passion with them. With when I play kids, for example, when I play basketball kids, and we're playing one on one, and they say the thing like, "Hey, Mr. Ramirez, you're an unk."
Mm.
I go, this unk just beat you. I go this, and they go this. I look around like I feel fresh, I feel young. What's going on? And I go, hey, this unk just beat you, and he goes, and then I go, this unk just beat you, and then they say I wasn't taking it serious. Well, I was, and that's why I won. You know, and I go, that happens all the time in life. We can always give excuses why we didn't achieve something that we really wanted, whether because some of your peers are going to think, oh, you're doing the most, you're doing extra. Why are you taking it that serious? They're going to take away your shine down or whatever it is that you feel you want to do. You see, you guys call me a nunk, and I'm okay with that. But I still won. I still gave you my best.
That's
You can't-
interesting, right? Like
huh?
how the terminology changes too, right? From generation to
Yes.
generation, right?
Yeah.
And right, like when you talk about Ruben, when you talk about like generational trauma and wounds and so forth, right? Like for
Mhm.
us, certain being spoken to a certain way was
Mhm.
hurtful, right?
Yeah.
The newer generations, like you may mention, right, George? Like you talk to them a certain way, and they'll look at you like, what? Like, what? And for us, it might be like, oh, it's not really a big deal, and for them, it's like, what? Like what? Like
Yes.
it's
Mm.
Yeah. So changing some of those things, right?
And I think that's
Yeah.
what I do. Those subtle reality checks, you know?
Yeah.
And how do I know I'm making a difference? They come back the next day or the day after and they say, "Good morning, sir. I'm here. I'm present. I'm ready," without saying it. The tone, their approach. And that's when I know I'm making a difference, you know? So you know, it's talking to them a specific way. So, you know, and then when it comes to coaching, it's different. You could actually be a little more aggressive using the competition as an aggressive tone, you know, and I get to do that too. So, I mean, hopefully that answers the question in a nutshell.
Yeah. No, I love that because yeah, some of the clients that I work with, some of the kids that I work with too, have mentioned that like, dang, you're at that unk status, huh? Because some of my grades have been showing lately. Um, but I love what you said because it led into the next question. How do you navigate yourself in your relationship at work, home, or the community without falling into old machismo roles? So
Mhm.
I really like that you kind of embrace that. You kind of embrace like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm an unk, but I still gave you that, I still give you that work.
Yeah,
I still gave you
exactly.
my best. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Instead
yes.
of getting
Becoming
into
offended.
that, yeah, instead of being machista and getting offended, like, oh, what did you mean? What do you mean, unk? Like, you know what I mean? Somebody could have took that offensive, but I love the way that you were positive about it. And you were
Yeah,
like, no, like I'm gonna put my best. And yeah, okay, cool. I'm an unk. All right, I'm gonna show you what unk could do.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I love the fact that you were able to lead lead that with so much positivity. Um,
Yeah, if
so
I
that
can
kind of
add
leads
to
into
that, if I can add one more thing to that, because you said that,
yeah.
today's kids and students, they can't open up because they feel you're going to abuse your power, whether it be teacher power, whether it be this. You can't say that to him, you know, like, no, like I tell them, it's okay. You know, we can talk, as you go, I'll put my boundaries. And as you go, you put your boundaries. We are all even. We all count. We all cry. We all want to hug. We all eat. We all want to go home. We all want to be happy, you know. And the one they hate is we all root for the Lakers. And they're, yeah, that's when it goes away.
Yeah. No, that's true. And it's and I think it's a good approach to take. It's a good path as well, right? Because then when you're looking at your own kids, when we're looking at our kids, right? And how are we going to approach situations? What's going to be different in the way we guide them in the way, right? We have an understanding, right? That can be that we know how to fluctuate accordingly and not go to the extreme, which oftentimes a lot of parents do, right?
All the
Especially
time.
especially men, right? Men, it's like the minute their child says something in a jokingly manner, it's like, why are you disrespecting me, right? Like, why are you being rude, right? And it's like, no,
Mhm.
maybe all of this is just
¿Qué
your
dices,
child.
cabrón?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
no me
Yeah.
faltas el respeto, and
Mhm.
and it's not that. It's that maybe they're trying to connect with you, right, and develop that bond, and they don't know how, right? And in that process, what the father does is instead of embracing and creating that relationship, it starts to push their children.
Yeah. 30 at the age, 15 years ago, I would have been a horrible teacher. What'd you say? Why are you talking to me like this? You're right. It, like like we've spoken before, we have a lot of conversations, me and you, I'm grateful that the planets are aligned. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And, and like, I'm glad that I was given the opportunity to give back. Like I'm really grateful for that. And through my music, through teaching, like I'm glad for these positions. So when I am tired, maybe when I'm not in the mood, when a student kicks a volleyball and hits me in the face, right? Like whatever happens, and I'm like, no, I know what I'm doing here. I'm grateful for the fact that I'm not power tripping. That we're here for a greater cause, and then I'm grateful for that right now at the moment, because it wouldn't have happened 15 years ago.
It's a very good, right?
Mm. Yeah. Well, I like that. I like that you're honest enough with yourself to see, like, hey, yeah, like 15 years ago, nah, that wouldn't have been me. That shows a lot of growth, man. So,
Thank you.
big kudos to you. We don't show appreciation to the hard work that, us men do to try to better ourselves, and, acknowledge as well, like, hey, 15 years ago, I was not, I wouldn't have been able to, I think about it a lot myself too. Like, I think of, dang, like, I was telling Jose, sometimes I sit back with my wife and I think, dang, like, I've gone a long way. I'm not perfect, I'm still very, very flawed, but, especially now that my son has kind of left the nest and he's in college and stuff like that, I look at the environment that we put him in and put myself in to better myself, with ultimately teaching him to have, like what Jose was saying, voice, being able to not, take stuff personal. Because I was on the quick when in the early stages of fatherhood, I was quick when he would say something to get in that defensive mode. But now, we could crack jokes. He's called me uncle a few times and stuff like that. I'm like, it's cool. I'm like, yeah, you know, you can call me uncle, you could call me old man and stuff like that. It's okay. But when we're in the gym, who's giving you that work? So
Yeah, exactly.
it's
Yeah,
very important to have that dynamic and have that relationship with our children, and be open to embracing that, because all that's done is grown me and him a lot closer. Like, we he's in college and he texts and call every day,
that's a blessing, bro. That's a blessing.
check in all the time. So, I take it as a huge blessing. I wouldn't have thought that, with my father, to be able
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to have
I,
that, you know.
I also, I don't know if this sounds machismo or not, but I think that a man with grace and control, and when people know men are powerful and they don't use that as a tool, and to use grace and use it with grace and control and love and empathy, when they're able to use these things, they can inspire and move a lot of things.
Absolutely.
Men are missing in society in a lot of ways, and you know I take pride on that. I try to be that. I don't know if I am, I don't know if I do, but I really humbly try to be that, not
Well,
use the power trip.
without having the iron fist, you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
And that's, it's interesting because, right, like growing up or in a lot of like the traditional families or machista families, right? Um, there was the iron fist equated
Mhm.
to power and control and, right, the message of, I'm in charge and so forth, right?
Yeah. Lo que yo
Uh,
digo mando
yeah,
type
but
stuff.
but in a lot of ways, right? In a lot of ways, it destroyed relationships and the ability to develop trust and closeness, right? Because
Yeah.
if you talk to a lot of if you talk to a lot of families that are in that exact predicament, a simple question such as asking, "What's your dad's favorite ice cream?" Kids don't know it,
Oh,
right? And
uh,
that's very telling, right? Like if you can't, if you can't, if you don't know, like, what's your dad's favorite ice cream or what's your dad's favorite food, something that we all have plenty of often, right? That's very telling of a relationship, right? And it's sad, right? Because it's something that you should be able to know in the course of a day or a weekend, right? Like, who doesn't go out and grab a bite to eat and see what dad or mom orders, or right, over time,
right.
right? But what happens is, people become disconnected, right? Fathers want to
That's
be controlling and everything, and then in that process, kids just stay back. Nah, I don't want to go, right? You guys can go, or I'm not hungry or whatever, right? And and so they miss a lot, they miss a lot of that connection. So that sucks, but but I'm glad, that. So we as men, right, we're making those shifts, we're making those changes, we're definitely aware and working towards, we're working towards really establishing a very different role of what a man, what it is to be a man, right? Doesn't mean that you're less than. It doesn't mean that No, it just means that you're doing things different
It
in a healthier way.
it's constant in my mind. I'm breaking the generational curse. It's constantly, all the time. Anytime I move, talk, or try to guide anyone or anything, it's to break the generational curse. It's one of my like foundations, you know? Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool that you say that because me and Jose have talked about it. I have a very interesting and close relationship with my barber. He's been my barber for 8, 9 years or something now. He knows my son. He's seen him grow up from, a little person to being a grown man now that goes and gets his haircut and pays for his own haircut and stuff now. One of the questions he asked me recently, because we talk a lot, about fatherhood, we talk about life, everything. One of the questions that he did pose to me is, he asked me, he said, Ruben, do you feel like you broke that cycle with Ruben? And it made me like, because like I questioned myself a lot. I'm like, am I doing right as a father? Like, I don't know. I must be trauma. I don't know what it is, but like I always question myself on that. And when he told me that, it made me really emotional to really think like, dang, like, have I? Um, and I could feel that he could tell like I kind of got emotional about it, and I kind of like paused for a minute. And he's like, dog, you have. Like, he's like, I look at Ruben and you're a prime example. I was like, dude, you're trying to make me cry up in here. Like, what are you doing, man?
I asked for a fade, bro.
He's like,
Yeah.
he's like, he's like, nah, he's like, real stuff, man. He's like, you're inspiring our next generation. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, I see it. He's like, I hope to be the father that you are. And I'm like, why are you going there, bro? And he's like, nah, he's like,
You're not
Ruben is,
getting an extra tip, bro.
Yeah, you're like, bro, just cut my hair. Hurry up, man.
yeah, I'm like, I'm like, wow, man, I never really looked at it like that, I was like, because I second guessed myself a lot. But he's like, no, think about it. He's like, look what everyone's doing, look what he's achieved, and um. So with that being said, the next question I do have is, um, now that I've gotten emotional second time on this
It's all right,
podcast,
brother. It's all right. I do it all the
right?
time.
No, and I'm totally cool with it. So what is a moment where being vulnerable or emotionally honest actually made you a stronger man?
Oh man, I was fortunate to be around a lot of strong women, bro. You know? It wasn't I loved the men around me. I love my father. I love them. I mean, I appreciate him all the time, constantly. I think my dad was probably the only man in my life, and he taught me a lot of things, right? But it was the strong women that always challenged me and saw the potential in me before I ever did, or even consider it, right? Uh, you know, uh, my wife was big on me opening up emotionally, um, and even risking our relationship in a lot of ways. I was able to love myself enough and my wife enough and what we had going. And I went to some seminars, empowerment seminars, and I did two of them. One, I don't know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and one like 3 years ago, right? And they've given me tools. They've given me tools and that I use daily. I'm okay with being emotional. I'm okay with telling, Jose, which I've known a long time, like my brother. I'm okay to tell him I love him and I love you, bro. My best friend, I love you. I hug and kiss my dad. I hug and kiss hey, I love you guys. I hug and kiss my sisters when I don't see them. I'm always okay with that. It's so second nature to me. You know? I'm okay with you know, um, being open to them. I to the point where, in getting these tools of vulnerability, a lot of times we don't say I'm sorry. We don't, because we don't want to show this. Oh, they understand. We're cool now. That was 5 years ago. No, I've apologized to people 15 years later. I told them, hey, bro, if I've ever disappointed you, let you down, or said anything or done anything to you, I just want to tell you I'm sorry, bro. And I really mean it. And I say this because I appreciate you and appreciate our relationship. So I'm always very open. It's okay. Like I'm already to a point where if I'm gonna be judged because I'm being honest and I'm showing a heart that was given to me and a soul that was given to me, I'd be a hypocrite hiding it. But I have it, so I use it and I share it in a good way, and these feelings that I have, I take pride in passing them forward. Now, do I expect them to reciprocate? I'm okay with them not reciprocating. I'm okay. I feel good just giving, like letting this out. Instead of letting rage and anger out, I let my appreciation and my love out. So I'm okay with vulnerability, man. I do it all the time, man. And it's always going to be there. It's never going to go away. If that goes away from me now, and I don't use those tools, I know that I'll be a different person and a person that I don't want to be, and that's never going to happen again. So it's never going to happen. I'm so comfortable with the tools that were given to me.
Yeah, that's great because you know what? Like we talk about vulnerability and we talk about like being confident in expressing how we feel as men. And I think all three can agree, right? That being able to do that is liberating. Right?
Yes.
It allows you to be free. It allows you to be at peace, right? That for a lot of other men out there, they struggle with achieving that. And part of it may be because of fear, right? Of being vulnerable, fear of being criticized, fear of being shamed, right? For actually being vulnerable and allowing that side of themselves to be exposed, right? Um, but then what happens? This part, this part for me, I believe, is an opportunity and it's a great experience that's transferred over to my kids, right? Because if they say that dad feels okay with being vulnerable and expressing emotion and everything, it gives them that freedom to be able to do the same and not feel like they have to hold back, right? In doing that, because what might dad say? What might mom say? No, you know, it's okay, right? It's normalized. Go for it, right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and I think that that's one of the things that has led this world. And I'm talking right. I'm talking, on a global spectrum here. That's led this world to become angry. You know, um, people people don't take that opportunity to be genuine and to be vulnerable, right? In good ways. Sure, they'll be vulnerable in ways that are harmful. You know,
Mhm.
they'll criticize and do everything on social media and everything, right?
It's called crashing out nowadays.
Right? Like it's crazy. It is. It's crazy, man. Like, and it's like like it's just senseless. But if men specifically would feel okay about just being open and showing emotion and everything like that, I think that we could set that tone, right, for the younger generations on how to carry themselves and be okay with taking that path in life. That's just my opinion.
They want it, bro. They want it. I feel it when I speak to these kids, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, in the metal mole of emotions. It could go either way, the pitch and the fork for them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like and I don't mean this in like in an egotistical way or anything, but I feel that I've invested in these kids and they come. I mean, they come and they're, hey, Mr. Ramirez, hey, Mr. Ramirez, what's up? And they try to say like, they try to give me titles. Hey, you're the best teacher. You're this, and I'm like, look, thank you, but me and you, we just talk and we're honest and we're open. And I feel and I understand what you're saying, but I'm not the best. We're normal. We're the best. We do this. We created this. And you can do that with other people that you care
Yeah.
about or do that.
Be like, be
I
like
do that a
you're the
lot.
best unk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. like, all right, bro, 1-on-1 right now. You're gonna catch a mean elbow. That's it. The unk elbow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, kids are too much.
Yeah. But yeah, man, like absolutely, man. I completely that resonates with me what you said. You know, they want it, man. And it's important to normalize it. It's a good time, you know.
Absolutely.
Uh,
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know, with my son, he played basketball too, and I still run into some of his teammates and players. This morning, I was at the gym, and one of the little youngsters, he came up to me, he's like, wait, you're Ruben's dad, huh? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, what's up, man? How you doing? He's all super ecstatic and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, what's going on, man? He's like,
Yeah.
it's good to see you here. I was like, okay. I'm like, all right, man. So it's cool seeing our next generation, seeing that, they're embracing a lot of different stuff. I think we're at the point where a lot of change is happening. A lot of kids are seeing the more they're open, the more they're going to get out of. Because I work with a lot of kids myself right now, and one of the kids that I had, he was kind of struggling. Um, he's doesn't have his parents involved in his house, so he lives with his maternal grandmother. Um, and he was struggling a lot. And the last, I want to say like 2 weeks ago, he told me, "Hey, you know what? I don't want to be here. I'd rather just be in foster care, whatever. I don't want to be here." So me and him got to talking, and um, we were talking about all kinds of different stuff, and spiritual stuff came up. And one of the things that we talked about was true love and true passion. And I think it kind of really resonated with him, because the last 2 weeks that I've gone, he's like, I got a scripture for you. I got this. So he's
Oh,
all
nice.
ecstatic now.
that's great.
Like,
That's great.
I want to better myself. You really made me think about, the way that I treat my grandma is not right. I do see everything that she does for me. And he's like, yeah, like I have to be different. He's like, I need to stop being angry and resentful towards my parents not being here. They're not here. Oh, well, my grandma's here and she's here to help me and support me. Then I gotta show gratitude and appreciation towards her.
That's amazing.
I
You know, one day at a time.
I was like, whoa, okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
cool. So
Yeah.
there's a big shift right now, I think, in our younger generation, where they are, they just need a small breakthrough. They need somebody to have that conversation with them, and show vulnerability and show like, hey, si se puede, you know what I mean? Like we could do it, with the support, we could get it done. So it's good to see
Absolutely.
that
We're not
you're
alone.
out. Yeah, it's good to see that you're out there, George, doing your thing and
Gracias.
being a big
Absolutely.
impact to the kids of our next generation. We need
Absolutely.
we
I
need
remember I remember like there was a summer school. I taught summer school last year and I did math and English, right? And and they came in there like, "Oh man, this is boring. I don't want to be here and all that." And I go, "No, we're gonna have a mental shift right now." And I told them, "Hey guys, think about it right now. You think you're saying that everyone here is bored and all that?" He goes, "Yeah, dude. Let's be the hardest thinkers right now. Let's really finish this book. Who's really in, man? Who really wants to be the hardest thinker in this campus right now?" They're quiet. And I go, "Yeah, all right, man, we'll see right now. We're reading chapter one today." And you read chapter one. No, we finished a book. I got them
That's
going,
amazing.
right? And then at the end, I gave them a pizza party and I go, hey, wait. I took a picture with them. He goes, "Come on here. We're the heartbreakers, bro. All these people that thought we were going to just do nothing, we just broke their hearts."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, we're the heartbreakers." So when we see each other in campus, "Hey, what's up? Oh, you're an original heartbreaker. Can I be a heartbreaker?" "Dude, you weren't at summer school, dude. Like, that was a one-time thing. I'm going next summer. All right, man, we'll see." You know?
I'm on board. Yeah,
Yeah, so being able to shift minds was fun. It wasn't just a serious challenge. It was a fun challenge. It was cool. I'll show you the picture next time. It was
Yeah,
cool.
nice. Yeah. And that's what's needed, right? And I hope that to all our listeners, who get to watch the podcast, to really take a minute, right, to really think about how making a shift in how they behave, especially other men out there that take the time to watch this podcast, to really think about how taking the risk in becoming vulnerable, surrounding yourself with people that are supportive of you, and being open, being genuinely open, can really help you propel into that next stage, where then you can be ready to take on other things, right? Like you mentioned, George, like maybe 15 years ago, I wasn't ready, but here I am, right? And it's a process. And I think that's what people need to understand, right? People in general, but, other men out there, if you're listening, right? You got to understand that this is a process, and it has to start at some point in time. Because if you don't begin, you're going to find yourself in the same predicament over and over and over again. It doesn't get easier. It gets more difficult. It gets more frustrating, more anger provoking. And that's not going to take you anywhere. And it's definitely not going to get you closer in your relationship with your family. So hopefully that helps. I think, we've had a great podcast. It's been amazing talking with George. Thanks, George, for joining in and sharing with us, your perspective on some of the questions that Ruben shared. And we're going to continue to have other people join in periodically, to give us their 2 cents and their opinion about their experiences based on different questions that we'll formulate. Hopefully it's something that can spark some sort of a thinking process in all the men out there, that are in that journey of finding themselves and trying to be a bit different, right? If that helps. So, all right.
Yeah, I do want to take the time too. Thank you, George, for joining our podcast today, and thank you for all the hard work that you do as a teacher, and providing passion to the kids that you work with. It's a true blessing to see somebody like you with the passion to want to help. So it's appreciated. We want you to know that.
Yep. I need to bring that back into the classroom. So keep it up, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So
it goes both ways, man. I get a lot back too.
yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome to hear. All right, guys. Well, everybody have a good night. Thanks again. And I'm sure that, we'll be touching base again, George. We'll be touching base again, and maybe
Absolutely.
perhaps all three at some point in time we'll cross paths again, and we'll continue on, with the new stories
great.
come along.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have a good night. All right.
All right. You too. Have a good night, guys.
Take care. Have a good one. Take care now.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Peace.